Yeah, hey everyone, I'm Hirsch, and I'm on this team with Thomas, Abhishek, and then Mike, Kedar, and Pranav work with us remotely. And so we are presenting P.A.L. Let me just pull that up. Perfect. Yeah, so I'm just going to start and give an overview because what we build is actually sort of a technology or a toolkit that you can use to build many things. So P.A.L stands for the Proactive Agent Library. And so the inspiration for this project, do you want to scroll down on the slide? Perfect. Up a bit. Yeah, so the inspiration for this project came on Tuesday, actually, when Sam Altman was here. And I think we had a chance to ask him what he sees as sort of the unintuitive future in the sort of medium or intermediate term with AI. And he started talking about how AI is going to push information to us and we won't have to pull it from it. And I think that was an interesting way of saying that AI is going to become proactive. And so we kind of had this challenge in our heads. Modern day foundation models like GPT-4 are very powerful general reasoners. So could we show with modern systems how these can actually be proactive today? And so P.A.L is a very powerful, flexible, and expressive library. Thomas, do you want to scroll down on the slides? Down to how P.A.L works? Thanks. So be super high level, happy to answer more questions about this, but basically we flexibly allow any developer to specify how information might be pulled into what we call the evolving state. That information can be pulled through webhooks, it can be pulled through sort of a scheduler, and we've built several of these plugins. So information can be pulled in from all sorts of different streams. If you think about it from the personal perspective, different places in your life, like your location or your email, your archive stream, your favorite podcast list. And it's all made available to GPT. And interestingly enough, we did a lot of sort of prompt experimentation where we didn't tell GPT what to surface, but told it to surface what it found interesting and to not surface the things that it didn't. And so interestingly enough, what we're seeing here is kind of like a very fast condensed demo live of an agent that we built with the P.A.L system. So GPT-4 is sort of the processor here. And so we've sort of surfaced a couple things here. So we have this context about this user, in this case it's me, things about my health, about the weather around me, where I am. And GPT is starting to suggest things. So you can imagine in the morning, it starts to suggest to you, hey, you haven't been really getting good exercise. You should exercise, but there's rain this week. And so be careful and mindful of that. Here's days you might work out outdoors. It also pulls information from things like archive and places like that. And meanwhile, it's building this general context and actually triggering things based on its own volition. So when I get a voicemail, and this all has multimodal processing, so it's reading in sort of waveforms, images from my image library, things like that. When I get a voicemail from a friend, Abhishek, saying, hey, he wants to meet up, he knows I'm in town, he wants to talk about multimodal AI because he's working on something. GPT actually independently, without us sort of prompting it like, hey, think about what Abhishek is saying or anything like that, surfaces that, oh, you might actually be interested in taking Abhishek with you to this multimodal AI conference that you'd taken a picture of. And you guys can talk about the ideas he has there. So that's just an example of a sort of a proactive suggestion on its part. And the other thing that we were actually able to do with P.A.L was converse with GPT on this evolving context. And so you can ask it questions about what it's telling you to do, and it doesn't forget, it maintains that. And now, of course, there's numerous challenges and things like that. Do you want to go back to the slides real quick, Thomas? There's actually one other thing I want to highlight. Yeah, you can just keep it on the side.
30 seconds.
Okay. GPT also ignores a lot on purpose, which is really good, because we don't want to be just pestered about any trigger that's happening in the information stream. GPT knows not to pester us about Bitcoin a lot. It only tells us about Bitcoin when it thinks it's particularly notable. So that's a really interesting and I think a positive behavior. We've built a lot of other stuff with P.A.L already. Tons of integrations. It's fully extensible and open source, and it's available, and lots of people said they want to build on it. So I'm really excited about this, and we think there's both research and product directions in the future. So yeah, that's P.A.L. Time for questions?
Anyone have a question?
Could you say what hooks I have as a user or as a developer? Like, how do I customize this?
Yeah, do you want to answer that, Abhishek?
Yeah. The abstraction that you get are you register plugins, and plugins are essentially your hooks to information sources. So it can be like access to your health information, your location, vision, and these could be multimodal plugins. And then you also have a prompt system, a flexible prompting system that kind of lets you define an agent for not just like a human, but also like a space, a business, like say SPC might want to define an agent on its behalf. So these are really the interfaces, and that gives you a lot of creative, expressive abilities.
Yeah, as part of our demo, we were actually able to leverage sort of these like multimodal plugins. So the voicemail plugin, that's an audio file we have, right? So we've got some contrived stuff, like the Bitcoin price obviously isn't real. I'm sure a lot of people here wish it was. But the the voicemail thing, that's a real audio file. I think what we're feeding to this is one of the things was a poster for this like multimodal conference, right? So we're able to sort of easily leverage that multimodality out of the box via the plugin interface.
And you can extend it how you want.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Abhishek, Pranav, Thomas, Michael, Kedar, and Hirsch. That was awesome.